Welcome boys and girls from YouTube. My name is Sloth, this is the Sloth Forge, and thanks for stopping by on today's video. Today, as you can see, we are once again on the test server for Season 2. And today, we will start our new hero guide session. The first hero that I will make a quick guide for you is Bernade. And just to sum this up real quick, I'm super hyped for Bernade. I already was super hyped, and now that I've been testing her a lot, I'm even more hyped for pulling for Bernade. I'm looking forward for this now. There's a couple of days to go, but yeah, I will definitely go for Bernade, no matter what. But there is no other particular reason why I'm doing Bernade first. She is not going to be the strongest hero out of the new Season 2 heroes, especially when it comes to damage. She is not the new groundbreaking new hero. She is not designed to be a damage dealer, but more to be a support hero for your damage dealers. But she will increase your team's damage by a lot. She is a very, very strong support hero. So let's talk about this real quick. But before we get into this, before we talk about her skills, there is one quick announcement I have to do. It's more of a celebration announcement actually. Thanks to your amazing support, guys, I actually got nominated for the Creator Gala. So yes, I am actually part now of the Creator Gala. I'm very looking forward to this as well. I will keep you posted about this, because now you have actually the possibility to vote for me as well. So, but we don't know exactly how this is going to look like. So yeah, I will keep you posted about this. But keep this in mind, if you want to support me further, you can now, in a couple of days, vote for me in-game as well. But now let's get into this. But yeah, just to mention this once again, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Like, I got the message like 2 hours ago, and it was such a nice feeling. I can't stop smiling since then, honestly. So yeah, I'm super grateful. Thank you very, very much for your amazing support. But now let's get into this. First, let's talk about Bernade's skill. First, her aura. Her aura is actually nothing special. She provides a little bit of additional HP. 30% actually is quite nice, but it is only in Fey Meander and Trial Breakthrough, so it is nothing special, honestly. You won't use this aura too often. Next, her passive. Her passive is very good. She is the hero that now can grant those natural instinct buffs. She's the only one that can do this yet, and probably will be the only one for a very long time, maybe forever. We will see. But she is the only one who can do until now, and those natural instincts buff, they are very strong. As you can see, every single one of those buffs increases the damage dealt by 3%, but it only increases the damage by summoned units, not by other heroes, not by summoner school heroes, only by summoned units. So for example, the dragon that Isitarian, the dragon that Isitarian summons, the bear that she summons herself, or also Lalvanis also is a summoned unit once she transforms. So yes, she will also boost your Lalvanis, and you know how much damage Lalvanis can deal, and with those natural instinct buffs, she can deal up to 60% more damage, because you can have up to 20 of those stacks, and they are up for only 10 seconds, but you will have no problems at all to keep those stacks up. Maybe sometimes it goes down to like 17 or 18 stacks, but depending on your team, normally you should be able to keep up those stacks at 20 for the whole fight. So yes, those are the natural instinct buffs, like the bread and butter of Bernade. Now her battle skill. She summons a temporary bear spirit, the Bear King, and attacks all units in an area. Now this deals a little bit of damage, but as I said, she is not your main damage dealer. She is designed to be a support for your main damage dealer. And as I said, she will help your main damage dealer to deal so much more damage. So nothing special actually when it comes to this battle skill. But her ultimate, on the other hand, is once again very, very strong. First, we love to see full AoE skills. This is always nice. What exactly does her ultimate? She now rides her bear for 6 seconds and deals damage every single second on a very good area, as you can see. And first, this is what makes her, another thing that makes her so strong is that now we have a very, very reliable applier for the Witch Remains in our summon team. This was always a little bit of a problem, that we did not have the perfect hero to apply defense penalty with the Witch Remains, in some at least of those summon teams. But now with Bernade, she is just a perfect hero to inflict defense penalty with the Witch Remains, because she has a multi-hit ultimate. Apart from that, this ultimate actually is nothing special at all. She once again, like with all of her skills, grants a little bit of natural instinct, so you will keep up those stacks quite easily. And she can deal a little bit of damage here as well, but as I said, she is not designed to be your new main damage dealer. I tried it. I tried to build her very offensive, like way more offensive than she is built here, and she does not do as much damage as your other summoner heroes or your summoned units do. So keep this in mind. She is more of a supportive DPS unit. Now let's talk about her recommended stats. As I said, you can build her with attack and crit rate, especially if you have no problems to keep her alive for the whole fight. Then of course, build her with crit rate and attack as well, just to increase your overall damage a little bit. But especially if you use her, for example, in Vortex or Continental Challenge, like other areas where you want to keep her alive for the whole fight, I would recommend to build her with some defensive stats. And of course, no matter what, if you use Witch Remains, you always want her to have enough accuracy to inflict the defense penalty. Now about the gear sets, there are actually some very interesting gear sets. And I really like to use a Puppeteer's Inspiration set on her, because there is another very special thing about her ultimate. It's like 95% of the heroes in this game have at least a 12 seconds initial recharge speed on their ultimate. Many heroes also have a 13 seconds initial recharge speed, but she only has a 10-second initial recharge speed, so she is just a perfect hero to use the Puppeteer's Inspiration set. Generally speaking, I like to use the Puppeteer's Inspiration set on the hero that goes last in the rotation, but if she is like at least 2 seconds faster than everyone in your team, you can actually use the Puppeteer's Inspiration set on Bernade as well. So this is a very good set for her. But there are other strong sets for her as well. For example, the Brotherhood Spirit set, especially since she is the one who goes first if she's using the Witch Remains artifact, then the Brotherhood Spirit set is very strong as well. Also, the Emissary's Whisper set is very interesting for Bernade as well, especially if you want to build her with high amounts of skill haste and you want to not use a fixed recharge speed on her, nothing like, for example, 18 seconds, but instead you want just to build her as fast as possible to keep up those defense penalty for as long as possible, then the Emissary's Whisper set is probably your go-to set, because sadly she does not inflict any debuffs on her own, but still every single time that you inflict the defense penalty with the Witch Remains, you will increase all your allies' damage by 10%. So the Emissary's Whisper set is another very, very strong set for your Bernade. But of course, if you have problems to keep her alive, if you just want to build her very tanky, you can go with some of those tank sets here as well. But in general, I would probably go with the Emissary's Whisper set, the Brotherhood Spirit set, or the Puppeteer's Inspiration set. Now, when it comes to the mythical gear piece that we want to use on her, there are some different options. I would absolutely not recommend to use the Imposing Presence, because as I said, she does not deal so much damage, so instead you want probably another equipment. For example, it depends as always a little bit on the content where you are going to use her. The Fight Poison with Poison set is very interesting, but not in all areas of the game. For example, in Vortex, this set does not provide anything, because the Vortex boss cannot be affected by the recharge speed penalty. But for many dungeons, for example, this can be very useful. But also keep this in mind, in general, the Fight Poison with Poison set sometimes can be negative for you, because sometimes it can screw up your rotation a little bit, especially if you want to stay in sync with the enemy, with the boss. Then you don't want to ever use the Fight Poison with Poison skill. So there are some different options. In general, I really like the Clean Sweep set, but also it is not useful in all areas of the game. If the boss does not inflict any debuffs, then the Clean Sweep set does not provide anything useful. So for example, for Vortex, I would probably go with the Ancestral Guidance set, especially if you struggle to keep her alive. then the little bit additional lifesteal just helps her to stay alive. And that's it pretty much when it comes to the gear. Now when it comes to the artifact, as I already said, I would probably always, or nearly always, build her with the Witch Remains, just because she isn't just perfect for inflicting the defense penalty, but of course if you already use her with someone else, for example Sloth, who is also very good at inflicting defense penalty, then you can use another artifact. For example, maybe the Rift Hourglass is interesting on her, or if you just have no problems to keep her alive at all, then of course you can build her with a little bit additional damage. For example, the Great Demon Skull would be an interesting choice here as well, depending on the content. The new artifact Titan Rip will be very useful in many areas of the game as well. So maybe, for example, you could build her with a Titan Rip. So there are many different options, but in general, I think most of the time you will actually use her with the Witch Remains. And that's it when it comes to gear and stats and artifacts. Now let's talk about the talents really quick as well. When it comes to the talent, there is a new addition in the game actually for Season 2. Now we can choose freely what talent we want to have active. So we are now no longer forced to stay within one path, within one row, but instead now we can freely choose those different talents for every single level, which is very nice. It just gives us so much more possibilities to use our heroes. Now let's talk about those talents really quick, because most of those talents are actually offensive. It does not make the biggest difference what talents you are going to use. It always depends a little bit on what content you are planning to use her, because most of those talents, as I said, just give her additional damage. So for the talent level number 3, I'm using the Gift of Nature just to increase her attack a little bit. When it comes to talent level 4, I prefer the Mana Feeding talent, just because it makes her bear a little bit tankier, a bit of additional attack and defense and HP. So just tankier in general and a little bit of additional damage. You could also, in theory, use the Charging Smash, because there is no downside on this talent. Because your summoned units, they don't have any duration. The bear is just alive, or is active as long as he is alive. So there is no downside in reducing his duration. So just in general, it just overall boosts the bear damage by 15%. So this is also quite nice, but I like to make him a bit tankier, so I prefer the Mana Feeding talent here. For the level number 5, for the number 5 talents, for level 5 talents, sorry. Those two talents, the Empowered Summoning and the Soul Linkage, are once again more the offensive talents, where I would prefer the Soul Linkage, because it helps, for example, your Levanis or your Esoterian to deal a little bit additional damage. And if you use her on the Witch Remains and you just build her with as much skill haste as possible, so you don't use a fixed recast timer of, for example, 18 seconds, but instead you just want her to inflict as many debuffs or as to have their defense penalty up for as long as possible, then I would definitely go with the Drain talent. Every single time a summoned unit vanishes, not her summoned unit, but all summoned units count for this. Every single time they vanish, she gets 1% ultimate energy, so this can be a very, very useful talent in many areas, especially if you pair her with something like Premza or Ursula's, heroes that summon a lot of units, then the Drain talent is very strong as well. When it comes to the level 6 talents, those two talents once again increase your damage output a little bit, which is okay-ish, but there is no question about this. I would always recommend to go with her exclusive talent, because now she can have up to 25 stacks. Those stacks, or those natural instinct buffs, still increase your damage by 3%. They are still up for 10 seconds, but you can now have 5 additional stacks, so just 15% additional damage, and we love to see this. Also, it makes it a bit easier for her to keep those stacks up, so the Wild Intuition, I have no idea how to pronounce this, I'm so sorry, is by far the best talent for your Bernade, at least in my opinion. And I think that's it. I really hope that I've mentioned everything. If there is something that I've forgot, if you have any particular questions or wishes for future content, as always, let me know in the comments below. And that's it for today's video. Thank you very much for stopping by, and once again, thank you very, very much for nominating me for the Creator Gala. I'm so hyped for the upcoming Creator Gala for the 2nd anniversary talent. But yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for stopping by and see you in the next one.